Hey, kids, you're listening to a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
I keep my nose on the grindstone, work hard every day. I might get a little tired on the weekend. After I draw my pay, I'll go back working. Come Monday morning, I'm right back with the crew. I drank a little beer that evening, sang a little bit of working.
I'll fix you, you varmint!
That's right, we're the Simpsons podcast that discusses the beloved animated sitcom, The Simpsons. But we don't do it in order, starting with season 1, episode 1. No, we do it at random, but we don't even do the first 10 seasons. Why? Because there's plenty other podcasts out there that have discussed those beloved first 10 seasons. No, we're going beyond seasons 11 to see if there's some gems out there that can match those classic Golden Age episodes that we all love and know by heart. I don't do this alone. No, I'm only half annoyed grunt boy, Craig, with my other half annoyed grunt boy,
Steve.
Welcome back to the show, Steve. How are we doing this week?
We are doing well.
Survived the 4th.
We did. I didn't do much. I worked. I came home. It was surprisingly busy. People are out and about.
The ban for restrictions like social distancing, mask wearing, all that has been lifted in Washington State, in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back to normal, Steve.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I mean,
I still don't want to do the podcast with you in the same room.
that's fair. Neither do I.
Other than that, I'm fine.
Okay.
I've gone to a couple restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now that guy that has to. We went to a restaurant, it's a Mexican restaurant in our neighborhood on Saturday, which was like the day after the lift. And I'm going to be this guy for about like a year. I'm just going to sit at the bar and my opening conversation is going to be, oh, I feel like I haven't sat at a bar in over a year. Yeah, that's me. I'm going to be that guy.
Well, as a bartender, I can tell you I'll never get sick of that.
Yeah. And then like I also met up with some friends. Sorry, you weren't invited the other day too. And I think my new thing is when I see someone, I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you since January 6th at the nation's capital. That's a good opening line, right?
I think so, yeah.
Getting back to normal. Are you getting back to normal with yourself?
I think so. We went out once and we'll probably do it again, but we didn't go out that much before times. But I ditched my mask at work, which was kind of weird. We're back to normal. I'm still going to wear my mask at the local Kroger's.
What's great about this pandemic? No, it's not what I meant, but like what's kind of good about this, I think now we're going to realize that, if you're feeling sick or you think you might be contagious or you just don't want to catch any germs, like it's perfectly fine to wear a mask into anywhere into public. And I don't think anyone's going to be like wondering what the heck's going on.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. Wear a mask.
We should have done this for the longest time, as Billy Joel said.
That's right.
Wasn't that what the song was about?
It was about wearing a mask, yeah.
For the longest time, yeah.
And if you don't, I'm moving out.
Yeah, let's not do that bit.
All right, because they were doing scenes at an Italian restaurant.
All right. You know what's fun at an Italian restaurant, Steve?
What's that?
Eating food.
You know what goes good with food?
Well, I'm assuming in an Italian restaurant, wine.
Or maybe they have a nice bottle of Peroni or a good beer, which brings us to our favorite segment, the Simpsons Beer Corner.
All right, Steve, why don't you start us off? What you drinking while you're watching this episode of The Simpsons?
Well, Craig, this episode features a guest star who has been accused of thievery. And I got to say, personally, stealing bugs me. So I have Bug Thief from Little Beast Brewing out of Portland, Oregon. It is a dry hopped oak aged ale coming in at 7%. And they read, we aged our Super Saison with a fetterer for 9 months with several strains of Brettanomyces, which are yeast, a naturally occurring yeast. And then they dry hopped it with a Cairo Centennial hops. So basically what that says is that they had some yeast and they added some hops to it. A big but drinkable beer with complexity packed with notes of lemon, grapefruit, lime, pine, floral, and tropical fruits. I know you're curious, Craig. I would say the can is very kid friendly. It shows images of figures catching bugs with bug nets like kids do. And there's also little crazy, creepy things in there too. But if I were a kid, I would be attracted to this beer. I don't like those words in that sentence.
That's weird.
Don't rearrange them, please. Ooh, she tart. Yeah, it's Very bold and bright on the aftertaste. A little not hoppy, but this kind of got that kind of that stank that saisons can sometimes have. But it's really good, really bright, really refreshing. I enjoy this one. It might not be for everybody because it kind of finishes a little oaky, kind of like a nice not like a nice wine that we mentioned. But I enjoy this beer. So Little Beast Brewing's Bug Thief, a dry hopped oak aged ale. I recommend. What do you got for us, Craig?
All right, Steve, I'm going to be a little crazy here.
Ooh.
Well, I don't have a Pacific Northwest beer, Steve. I decided to go to the Midwest, all the way to the Columbus, Ohio.
Ooh,
Isn't that where Family Ties takes place?
I do believe.
Yeah. It's from Hoof Hearted Brewing. Hoof Hearted Brewing.
Hoof Hearted.
Hoof, HOOF space Hearted, HEARTED. See, Steve, it's supposed to sound like Hoof Farted.
Right.
That's something Bart Simpson would do, pulling pranks, making prank phone calls like he does in this episode.
It is what he do.
Yeah. Well, it's something that you might be surprised. It's an IPA I'm going to be drinking.
Oh.
Yeah, weird, right? We don't know the IBUs on this one, so bear with me. It might be pretty bitter. I don't know. It's got 8% alcohol by volume there, and I should name the brew. It's called $60 Nachos.
Oh.
There is no description of what this is on the beer, so IPA. But talk about kid-friendly label, Steve.
I'm looking at it now, and yeah.
You know what it actually looks like is like a late 90s, early 2000s. Like this would be like a pop punk album cover.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Right. So you see just a hand, presumably a person. I'm not saying male or female because who knows, but it's got a lot of bling on there, like lots of diamond rings and some funky bracelets, painted nails, and it's got those that nacho dispenser that you see like 7-Eleven, like that little tube. So it's like that person's pumping the nacho cheese out, but it's actually just three $20 bills, making it $60.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a pink background with like chips and diamonds, and yeah, this just reminds me of a band album cover.
It's very alluring. It also kind of reminds me of like late to mid 90s animation,
almost like a Dr. Katz.
Yeah, Dr. Katz, or even like a little Beavis and Buttheady.
Yeah, very much like a Beavis and Butthead. I was also thinking like maybe like a Pee Wee Herman-esque too.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's give it a try, Steve. It's an IPA, double IPA. That's what it sounds like when you open it.
Interesting.
Yep. It to me, it just tastes like an IPA.
Yeah.
It does have a nice, like, sweet, a little bit of a sweet aftertaste, so the bitterness isn't right there. But it's fine. I think if you like IPAs, I would drink it. Even I would drink it, and I'm gonna have to continue drinking it because I'm not gonna waste it.
Well, no, of course not.
Don't waste beer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I know that both of us are not like our IPAs are not our go-to beer, but every now and then they can be nice.
Yeah, it's just a fun can. This would be a good IPA to serve up at some parties, and people would love it.
Yes, I'll have you know too that they have a $120 nachos, which is a triple dry hopped IPA that comes in at 12%, and it shows Liberace playing a piano that is covered in nachos. And because they're $120 nachos, there does appear to be guacamole on them. Because that's extra.
I just want that tattooed. I don't care what I say in the future about the Simpsons episode. I just want that a cool Liberace tattoo.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right, Steve. Well, let's drink these beers and watch the Simpsons. But first, we gotta get in our time machine.
And let's hop all the way back to October 5th, 2008. What a time. Craig, what was the number one movie in the box office?
Well, I know for a fact that you and I went to the midnight showing. We brought our action figures. We were in cosplay. It was our most anticipated movie of all time. And that, of course, is our favorite movie ever, Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
So good with George Lopez, maybe?
Yeah, didn't he die?
Not unless you got some news before this record.
Well, let's find out. Drew Barrymore's in it, and so is Jamie Lee Curtis and Piper Perabo.
Wow.
I've never seen this movie, Steve. I
No,
don't think it was made for us.
No, I don't think we were the key demographic. I think it was made for dogs.
Wow, it actually is a Disney movie. They put real Disney movie money behind it. But it has like a bunch of sequels too, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Doesn't look fun. I know it's on our owner's website there, Disney Plus. The mouse who owns us. But I'm sorry, Mickey, I'm not watching this one.
Me neither. If I want a dog, I'll watch Pluto or Goofy.
Yeah, I like Pluto TV. It's great.
Yeah.
That we're talking about?
Yeah, the reruns of MST3K. It's awesome.
It's the same four, but still, I watch them all over and over again. All right, Steve. Well, we're not watching Beverly Hills, Chihuahua. What were we listening to?
Well, Craig, we and the other kids were bopping to the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100. It's Whatever You Like. It's Whatever You Like, Craig.
Okay.
By Texas Instruments himself, T.I.
Stacks on deck, Patron on ice. And we can pop bottles all night, baby. You can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah, baby, I can treat you so special, so nice. Yeah, so the jet for you tonight, and baby, you can go wherever you like. I said you can go wherever you like. Yeah.
All right. Teh.
That's how I feel about that song.
Yeah, it's kind of a standard, I don't know, rap song.
Yeah, I mean, it feels kind of unremarkable.
It doesn't bop for me, Steve.
Nor bop for me.
It's a pass.
Well, speaking of passes, you need a pass to get into a golf course, I assume.
Or a pass to Disney Plus, a password.
Hey, that's a lot cleaner and a lot easier to do. So let's talk about what we're watching today. It's called Lost Verizon. It's the second episode of the 20th season. And in it, Bart takes a job at a country club retrieving golf balls to help save up money to buy a cell phone. While watching celebrities at the course, Bart finds Denis Leary's cell phone and makes prank calls pretending to be Mr. Leary.
All right, let's continue drinking beers. Let's set up the TV and the Disney Plus. You know, put that in the password and all that information. I don't know why you just don't save it, but we'll do that
fresh every time.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Long as I got rubber band banks in my pocket, 5-6 rides with rims and a body kick. You ain't got to downgrade. You can get what I get. My chicken house.
And we're back. Today we're talking about Lost Verizon, the second episode of the 20th season. It originally aired on October 5th, 2008. It is episode 422 in the show's run. Your nerd code is KABF15. It was written by John Frink, directed by Raymond S. Persi, and your showrunner is Al Jean.
All right, John Frink, what can we say about him that we haven't said before? This is our new ongoing thing.
Yes, John Frink.
You know, he was named after Professor Frink from The Simpsons.
Wow.
His parents, they went to the future. They watched The Simpsons. They went back in time and had sex and then had John Frink.
Sounds like something Frink would do.
There we go. I think we've said that before.
He wrote for both Hope and Gloria and Pride and Joy.
Was Pride and Joy a spinoff of Hope and Gloria?
I don't think they're related in any way.
I remember Hope and Gloria, but I don't remember Pride and Joy.
It featured Craig Bierko and Julie Warner.
Craig Bierko used to be second baseman for the Houston Astros, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Craig Biggio.
He also wrote for Men Behaving Badly, Veronica's Closet, and something called The Simpsons.
Craig Biggio?
Yeah.
Wow. I just remember when I was a kid, I guess it wasn't. Well, yeah, I was a kid. I just remember his name was my name, Biggio.
It's always fun.
Yeah. I guess we're not talking about Craig Biggio from the Houston Astros, retired baseball player. Let's talk about the Simpsons instead. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Well, it's it's 4:3 screen, Steve. It's the Snyder cut version.
Yep, we're going old school.
We're going old school. So we have how it used to start out, with a chalkboard gaga and a little Bart Simpson there, right? And the teacher's diet is working. So is he telling Edna that she's getting fatter and the diet's not working? And then Edna's like, fuck you. Here's me on the scale and I've lost weight, you piece of shit.
That's probably exactly how it went down.
And don't you ever fucking call out a woman's or just not even a person's weight. That's just rude, you dick.
Yeah, Bart sucks.
That's what she said to Bart.
Yeah.
Says, you fucking stay behind after this fucking class and fucking write on the goddamn fucking chalkboard. The teacher's diet is working, you piece of shit. And then Bart's like, hi, caramba, you sure are swearing a lot, Edna. And this was all a deleted scene. This took place before the Simpsons logo. This was like their cold open.
Yeah.
Many people don't know this. The Simpsons, every episode has a cold open, but most of the time it's just people swearing or doing some inappropriate things, so they always have to cut it.
It's a shame because there's usually some comedy gold there. Like Maggie's improv skills are amazing, and she usually tries to break the scene, but
I mean, a lot of them, the majority of the times they were cut because it was just Homer walking into Moe's and Mo would be like, what's up, Homer? And Homer would be like, my nipples, it's cold outside. And they laugh. And then Mo would say something silly.
And then you'd hear Woody say, The Simpsons is taped before a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't do that anymore. They just go straight to the Simpsons. So it's all been cut. Disney took it out. It doesn't exist anymore.
But you guys all remember it, so it's one of those.
Right. The
things.
Berenstain Bears. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's still an old school thing. So we got a couch gaga, Steve, I'm assuming.
Yep. The family rush to the viewing area of a mountain where they themselves are carved into the statue's face, sitting on a sofa. Bart remarks, "Ay caramba," upon seeing his family.
Oh, you mean this?
Ay caramba!
That was Milhouse doing a Bart.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think that one's better.
Well, Steve, let this our Simpsons show begin.
Hey, today.
Like the way it always does in every episode on the Springfield Highway. And then we see our good pal there, starting to be one of my favorite characters, I think, Principal Seymour Skinner. And he's riding his mother, riding with his mother. You go to Agnes, Lamb of God and Skinner there. In one of his many vehicles, we brought up, in the past that he's had lots of cars, Hondas,
Hyundais. But he's also had a Volvo, and I think he's riding the Volvo today.
All right. Well, let's see him driving it, Steve. Or for you listeners out there, listen to it.
Out of gas, but how? I put $1 in this morning and we've only driven 90 cents.
You had to drive with the windows down, didn't you, Rockefeller? Now get some gas while I read my bingo strategy guide. Let's see, B12.
You sunk my battleship.
I just love the idea of a bingo strategy guide book. It probably actually is.
I would imagine that it's a thing that exists.
Well, I've only been to a bingo parlor once, and it was actually pretty good. And I did get a bingo, and I got like $160, I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah. Because there could be a strategy, because you don't just get one card. I mean, you can, but that's not how you play. You got to have like 10 cards in front of you. So there's probably a strategy like, okay, memorize it.
There are several websites with several different articles that have titles such as 6 strategies for winning at bingo, 7 tips to win at bingo, best bingo strategy for advanced players, how to win a bingo 10 steps with pictures. So yeah.
So you're not making this up.
Nope. But as Agnes studies the strategy guide, it's all luck. Her son grabs a gas can from the trunk and tries to cross the traffic-filled road. And much like the titular frog in the game Frogger, Seymour manages to make it to the grassy median, only to find that he left the gas can on the trunk of his car. The principal straightens his tie and stridently makes his way back to his vehicle. While avoiding speeding semis and careening poops, he is spun by the passing car of Homer Simpson, who considers this to be a parent-teacher conference.
We see Milhouse, and what he's seeing is a disbelief, because he checks the digital road sign, which reads, Principal Crossing Freeway, expect delays. So is that the name of the freeway, is Principal Crossing Freeway?
I think so, yeah.
Or is it that they are noticing that the principal is crossing the freeway?
Maybe it's both.
Principal Crossing Freeway.
It's kind of like in Portland, we have a failing bridge, or there's a failing street, and there's a pedestrian bridge that says failing pedestrian bridge. But when I was a kid, I always read it as falling pedestrian bridge. Like it was a warning, like, hey, people might fall off, so don't try and drive into them.
Yeah, there's I always read it as falling street too. The other one was we have it's pronounced Cooch Street, but it reads as Couch.
Yes.
So you're an out of towner, and we're like, oh, this is on Couch Street, and us Portlanders just laugh in your face and say, go back to where you came from, out of towny.
Yeah. Way to read the word the way it looks, dummy.
So if you're ever in Portland, no, it's Cooch.
Cooch, Willamette, Skylar.
We need a Simpsons character named Cooch.
I like it.
It'll be like one of Otto's friends. Like, I got to get my Cooch from the Cooch.
Cooch is on the couch.
Yeah.
I like this character.
All right. Well, it'll be Falling in Cooch, Failing Cooch, this Thursday on NBC at 8:30 after a new episode of Coach, which is on another network. I don't know where we're saying that. Cooch. It's Cooch after Coach.
And if you do have a failing Cooch, go see a doctor.
All right. Milhouse. He needs to spread the word about the principal there, who's getting almost ran over Frogger style, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the highway there. So he decides to use his cell phone, flips up that old style flip phone there, and calls Wendell, who's using a drinking fountain, and then Dolph, who has a Bluetooth headset on.
Then we have Jimbo, who's taking an environmentally conscious approach to laundry day by using his outdoor clothesline to dry his shirts with the skulls on them, all with varying shades of black. And not to mention his other shirt that says, I heart puppies.
That must have been like a free giveaway, right? And
yeah.
Although he's Jimbo's from like a rich family, isn't he? If
I
remember
think he is,
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah. Huh. You know what? I'm gonna say he got that shirt because he every Sunday. This isn't canon, but I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
Donates his time to the animal shelter,
Aw,
and that's one of his shirts that he wears there.
I like it. Yeah, he just,
Dolph's a softie, right?
yeah, he's a gentle soul.
Or Jimbo, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're canonizing that.
Chunk cannon.
Oh, but Steve, speaking of canonizing things, we like to canonize this next couple here.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nelson and Martin, future lovers. If you ever listen to the podcast, we like to think that in the future, Nelson and Martin will be an item. They'll be a couple. They'll be married.
Yeah.
So Nelson's given his old famous noogie to Martin. The noogie will be something totally different when they're adults.
Still involve a fist.
Jesus. But they're in front of the library for some reason. Who cares? But with both their phones ringing at the same time.
So that was interesting.
It's like they this was a date. They planned it.
Right, exactly. And that's some noogie time. Like Nelson makes Martin Martin makes Nelson go to the library and they bone up, and then they on books. And they go outside and they bone down.
Oh, I see. Oh, so there is a reason why they're in the library. Okay, because I'm just thinking like, man, that doesn't make sense. But he met him there. No,
Yeah.
and Nelson met Martin there to bone up on books to study.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So back on the freeway, Seymour has acquired gasoline as well as an audience of children watching him on the nearby overpass. He tries to cross but loses his nerve. And then while catching his breath, Seymour sees Barney Gumble in an orange jumpsuit picking up beer cans for community service, ensuring to get every last drop of beer before placing them in the bag. Frustrated from his sobriety, Barney sees Skinner in a giant duff can, kind of Looney Tunes style, and vows to clean him up. He then chases Seymour with the pointy garbage pickup stick that you always have for community service and nowhere else, and through the grassy medium and onto the freeway. The children look on laughing, and Nelson asks where Bart is, and Milhouse tells the bully that Bart doesn't have a cell phone, but whatever he's doing, it must be pretty awesome.
So Barney is still sober in this time period?
He might not be.
Because his hair, it looks like like drunk Barney.
Yeah, I was mostly thinking that he's sober because he was doing community service, so he's probably sober for the day at least. So that's why he's like trying to get empty cans.
Well, yeah, I think he's off the wagon or on the wagon. I always forget. Yeah, he's back on the booze.
Yeah, I think so.
You're right. Okay, well, this is fun here. The awesome thing that Bart's doing there, that Milhouse says he's doing. You know what? Milhouse would think this is awesome because he's having a tea party with the little girl he's in love with. I'm saying Milhouse would think it's awesome because he's in love with.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I
Bart's
was confused there for a moment.
Bart's this isn't step brother and stepsister.
Know some of the websites you go to, so
Steve, don't go to those websites and type in step brother, stepsister, tea party, and don't tell me what you find out.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of tea party, he's there with his middle sister there, Lisa. That's her name. Okay, and they're having a tea party, and it's cute because he's got little Mickey Mouse white gloves. And then they put some time and made a little cardboard top hat. And
very nice.
Do you think that Lisa made it for him, or because he's clearly having a good time and is totally into this?
Yeah, I think that he made it, and he just doesn't want to admit it. But
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Do kids still have tea parties, Steve?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been to an imaginary tea party.
You weren't even born when your sister was like Lisa's age, right?
Right. I was 9 when she was 9 when I was born. I almost said I was 9 when I was born. Everybody knows I was a cool 45.
You're Benjamin Buttoning.
Exactly.
I never saw the movie. Does he end up at the end of the movie crawling into a vagina and staying in the womb? Is that how it works?
I assume so, and it ends with like a miscarriage. I don't know. Or
who was his love interest? Was it Gwyneth Paltrow? I don't know.
It usually is.
Wouldn't that be great if they got back together? Like, oh, now Ben Affleck and J-Lo are back together. Like, we were a power couple in the 90s.
Yeah, everybody just reverts back to her.
And Jennifer Aniston's still single.
Yeah. My eyes are so dry. And yet I'm so sad.
I'm trying to think of other 90s couples.
Well, I assume that,
maybe
Justin Timberlake.
Just gonna bring that up. He feels bad. He's like, sorry, Jessica Biel, Alba. No Biel. I'm divorcing you. That's exactly how it's gonna be. He's like, I forget your last name.
Yeah.
And go back with Brittany because I feel bad for her. And then who were some of the other crazy couples back in the 90s, 2000s?
Angelina Jolie and her brother.
Or Billy Bob.
That's true.
Let's go with man, my brain doesn't work anymore.
I know it's tough.
I mean, that's fine that I don't remember celebrity relationships from 30 years ago. So
I think you're okay. Like,
all right. Had to be one more power couple. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson.
There you go. They'll never get back together.
Anyway, so the Tea Party's having fun there, and we see the old bullies there, Dolph, Jumbo, and Kearney roll up on their bikes to inform that Spaz Bart what he's missed out while he was spazzing out. Spaz is probably offensive, right? We can't say that anymore.
I would assume so, but I really don't know.
All right. Well, for the meantime, we don't know, so we're going to keep spazzing, Steve. The bully showed Bart some cell phone pics of Barney chasing Skinner and Barney throwing Skinner into a dumpster, and then Barney and Skinner's mom, Agnes, there are leaving together holding hands. Oh, maybe he's got a new dad soon, Steve.
Daddy.
Yeah, well, Seymour looks from the dumpster sadly at his new dad and mom. Bart then declares to Lisa that he wishes he had a cell phone. His sister offers him an imaginary phone, but declines because he's not crazy, Steve. So he takes one final big of the fake tea.
So Bart then pleads with his mother for a cellular device using the classic lamer than Millhouse defense. But Marge explains that they can't afford a cell phone as they are currently buying frozen peas in installments. Marge then peruses her mail, which she has received a final notice from Allied Peas showing an angry Jolly Green Giant, and on the back, little green sprout on the back saying, "We're not kidding." I like how angry that little sprout is.
Yeah, I was reviewing some of the January 6th footage, the Capitol, and I think I saw him there.
I can see that.
I think the guy in the bullhorns, I think he actually has that tattoo, the little green sprout on him for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bart's bummed that he's never going to get a cell phone. Lisa is reading a travel book for Peru, and she said that she'd never go to Machu Picchu. That seems like a statement out of nowhere. So, I probably won't have a reference to the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Unless they follow the Lincoln Project rules.
That's true.
For reference, the Lincoln Project look at the past 3 episodes. So Lisa explains that being disappointed is part of being a Simpson, and even Maggie writes a little sign that says "Me sad too," which I gotta say I have a problem with this little "Me sad too."
Why is that, Greg?
I think Maggie has proven to be an intelligent baby, right?
She did write a sign that said "Me sad too."
Yeah, but she wouldn't say "Me sad too." She would
I see what you're saying.
Like, "I too am very distraught by these." By being a Simpson, I don't know, just something like eloquently, or like, "I am also sad."
Yeah,
me sad too. It's like, come on, it's baby talk.
Yeah, something Homer would write.
Yeah, you know what? Homer did write that. He just wrote "me sad," and she's like, "Oh, I'll put the 2 to because she's only a baby."
Mm-hmm.
So Homer wrote "me sad."
I'll take it. Yeah, I like it. I that passes.
But it was a cute scene, though. I think.
Yeah.
Even though I had some issues.
That's fair. It's okay to have issues. So walking down the street, wondering just how he's going to get a cell phone, Bart is suddenly pelted in the head with a golf ball. Looking to find the ball's owner, he heads to the Springfield Glen Country Club, where Doctors Riviera and Hibbert are on the putting green.
Is this your ball?
Why, yes, it is. Here you go.
Don't tell me where I go. $1? What for?
It's the least I can do. These balls cost $5 new.
So I can get $1 for every ball I find? Then if a cell phone costs $100, how many balls do I need?
This is why my kids go to private school.
$100 for a cell phone? What year is this?
Never. I mean,
don't think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he maybe like a prepaid cell phone with a plan.
But even by 2008.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you could probably buy one now for $100, but it's literally a flip phone, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like a jitterbug.
It's like only like $30. But yeah, burner phones.
Yeah,
they're cool for like crime movies or TV shows because they're always on and like, "You break me, Warshawski now," and then they break the phone and throw it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
This is a character who likes the movie VIP, Warshawski.
Exactly.
Wants the new Blu-ray release.
That's a really good Lawrence Tierney impression, by the way. It sounded just like him.
Maybe it was, Steve.
All right.
It's Bart's logic. It's great. I don't know. The don't tell me where to go. That was good.
Next time somebody says, "Here you go," I'm going to say that. I like it. Yeah. It's a good line.
I find it odd that Hibbert's golfing with Nick.
Yeah.
But I feel like, do you think Nick cheats?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Some people on the internet were saying that they weren't playing together, but Nick was his caddy.
What?
And I don't believe that. I didn't even want to bring it up, but since we're talking about them hanging out, I don't think they're caddies. I think it's weird that they're playing together, but he wouldn't be a caddy.
Because he's leaned up against a golf bag. No, those are probably his golf.
Exactly.
And then Hibbert's are probably in the golf cart that's off screen. Yeah.
I think they're just kind of going with that old like cliche of doctors playing golf on Wednesday mornings or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe they would hang out. Just,
right. Okay.
Not because they're buds, but just because, doctors play golf.
Right. That's the thing they do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bart takes to the course using a hand vacuum to suck balls from a bush, driving into the water trap with a snorkel to retrieve a fishing net full of balls, as well as a hatched crocodile egg with the mama crocodile grabbing the baby crocodile like a cat. Like it's doing like cat mannerisms. I don't think crocodiles do that. Which I was delighted by because it's not a thing crocodiles do, but it's a thing like mammals do.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. I don't think crocodiles give a shit about their kids, right? They're reptiles. They don't have feelings or emotions.
No. Yeah.
They care about like the eggs and making sure they hatch, but after they hatch, they're like, fuck
whatever.
You. Yeah, because they don't have
in
to
the water
nurse them or
looking
anything.
weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so Bart uses a baseball mitt to intercept the rich Texan's balls right before it lands in his hole, causing the Lone Star golfer to draw his pistol and shoot at little Barty there. So finally, Bart is a mere 20 balls away from his cell phone. So doing the math, he has 80 balls. When he's stopped by familiar groundskeeper, or should I say, greenskeeper.
So it's you! You're the one who's been poaching on my territory.
Groundskeeper Willie?
Weekends and summers, I'm greenskeeper Willie. Your ball scavenging days are over, and those orphan golf balls belong to me. Gah! Dimpled gold. I'm rich. No, I won't have to pleasure a country club wife to get me steak dinner.
So Willie would sleep with rich women to get a steak.
I approve.
Yeah, it means he's a good lover. So Bart sits on a rock in the golf course, depressed. He's worried that he's never going to get that cell phone. Up the hill from Bart, the Krusty Classic Celebrity Pro-Am is underway, with not a penny going to charity. Before the Crown Prince of Channel 6 can take a swing, though, another comedian has to take his turn.
Oh, great. We gotta wait for Denis Leary. Hey, Leary, if you want to have a tea party, go back to Boston.
Boston.
Come on, Ice Age, take the shot.
Ice Age was the name of the film. I played Diego, the vicious saber-toothed tiger who, guess what, has a heart. Now shut up, or I'll have you all kicked out of show business.
Damn it.
Huh? A cell phone! It's mine! Oh, cool. You can even watch commercials on it.
Bart does a little zoom in, breaking the fourth wall to make us watch commercials.
That's right.
At the time.
Yeah, which was interesting. But we got Denis Leary here.
Good old Denis Leary.
Yeah.
Related to Timothy Leary?
If he is, he's not the only one who's tripping. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
So he has been accused of being a joke thief. In fact, if you go to the Wikipedia article, Joke Theft, the 90s, this is the article. For many years, Denis Leary has been friends with fellow comedian Bill Hicks. However, when Hicks heard Leary's 1993 album, No Cure for Cancer, he felt Leary had stolen his act and material, and their friendship ended. At least 3 stand-up comedians have gone on record saying that they believe Leary not only stole some of Hicks' material, but also his persona and attitude. And then also Louis C.K., Louis C.K., also claimed that Leary stole the I'm an Asshole routine, which he turned into a song, which is probably one of his best known things.
Even back in the day when I was karaoke jockey, you could sing that Denis Leary song. I'm an asshole. Really? Yeah, that was a karaoke. Yeah.
Interesting. So, that's, I don't mean to disparage the man, but I don't know. That's kind of what he's known for.
Yeah, I was never a Denis Leary guy.
Yeah.
I know he was in movies I've seen. So like even as a kid, I always got him confused with what's his name? James Woods for some reason when I was a kid. I got them confused.
I could see that. They have like the same kind of intensity. They look kind of alike.
And they're both maybe not great people.
Yeah, I think you're
Well,
right.
I know one isn't for sure, but I just remember him like, wasn't he in the Sandlot? Didn't he always like play? Was he in? Yeah, he was in the Sandlot as like the dad or the stepdad.
Mhm.
Demolition Man. So I never knew. I'm like, is he a comedian in movies or? Because I mean, it's got that kind of that time too. That like Richard, it was like that kind of that Richard Lewis comic too, right?
Yeah.
That kind of. I don't know. I never really watched the Ice Age movies. I don't care.
No, me neither.
And I know he's Captain Stacy in the Garfield Spider-Man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, spoilers. I've only seen those Garfield Spider-Man once. And when I say Garfield, I mean Andrew Garfield, not Garfield the cat or former president.
I was disappointed twice there.
And I never watched Rescue Me.
No, me neither.
And you know what? I don't think I will.
I don't think you have to.
Oh, you know what? Dr. Katz. There you go. I remember him being in Dr. Katz episode.
Yeah.
Oh, remote control. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the show, Denis Leary.
I will say two good things about him. He's a very big advocate for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, and he also does a lot of work for firefighters.
Because he was on Rescue Me.
Exactly.
All right.
So the Rescue Me star, annoyed, he threw his cell phone in that clip into the air, and Bart found it and was amazed by the ads that it shows that Craig mentioned, and that goes to Act 2, which then begins with Bart walking to the Van Houten residence while calling Milhouse and asking him to guess where from he is calling. Milhouse knows that Bart doesn't have a cell phone. It must be in his kitchen or maybe one of his bedrooms, unless he got a wall jack in the basement, because that would be huge. I really like that Milhouse thought that he was so supportive as a friend, like, oh, Bart, you got a wall jack in your basement. So happy for you. But Bart asks his friend to look out the window, and despite his parents' rules, Milhouse does, and he finds Bart with his brand new cell phone, which happens to be a LG Cherry Chocolate, for those who are wondering. And the two boys assign each other ringtones, and then Bart receives a call.
Hello? You want Denis Leary? Wrong number, dumbass.
Come on, Dennis, it's me, producer Brian Grazer. I just paid $5 million for the screen rights to the book Everybody Poops.
I'm a big fan.
Only one face came to mind for the constipated gorilla. Yours.
Sure, well, on one condition. I want to do my own poops.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Of course I'll do it for minimum. Great. I'll see you next Monday in Tunisia. This phone belongs to Denis Leary.
Denis Leary? Boston comedian turned movie star turned basic cable notable?
That's right. Let's call his business manager and tell him to spend all his money on Yankees hats and Derek Jeter jerseys.
I don't know, Bart. What if Denis Leary gets mad?
Nah, he's cool. He's gonna think this is hilarious.
I guess Milhouse summed up how we feel about Denis Leary just fine there.
Yeah.
I do like Grazer was on the phone or Bart's on the phone. Yeah, I'll do it for minimum. Everybody poops.
It's funny that they made this joke about, turning a 30-page book into a movie, but that is something that they would absolutely do.
Hasn't it been done? I mean, well, they did Where the Wild Things Are, which I don't think I ever saw the movie. You just need to watch the trailer and you get that's the best part.
Yeah, it's a bleak, not kids movie.
Yeah, but look at all those Dr. Seuss books right there. They're only like 10 pages.
Oh, yeah.
Make movies out of those, which Brian Grazer did. Maybe that was a joke because he did the Cat in the Hat. He was producer for those, right?
That's true.
Has Bart ever called anyone a dumbass before?
No, it sounded really weird coming out of his mouth.
Maybe we need to isolate that clip so when one of us says something stupid, I'll click.
Dumbass.
There you go.
Anyway, so we cut to 1 week later in Tunisia, and the camera pans from a shining sun to Denis Leary dressed as a great ape king sitting on a stone throne speaking to his primate crowd about no longer living in shame. As the decree goes forth, everybody poops. The director calls cut and praises the performance. And Denis Leary comments that he doesn't even remember agreeing to this film. And then a dump truck full of shit drops on its load atop of him. Because remember, Bart said he needs to do his own pooping.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's just Denis Leary's own shit?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. That's why it took a week.
Yeah, because Grazer's like, it's in the contract that it's your shit. And then he just, he said it was his shit, but he just went to everyone's toilet and stole it. So he stole everyone else's shit.
It's somehow far worse.
I'm just saying he stole someone else's shit.
That would be something that he would do, yeah.
Instead of his own.
Yeah.
Do you think he gave Bill Hicks cancer on purpose so he would never find out and then Hicks died?
He did smoke a lot, so maybe it's he blew a lot of secondhand smoke into Bill Hicks's face.
It's canon.
Yeah, chunk.
Anyways, let's go back to 742 Evergreen Terrace where Bart's using his phone as only Bart's would really want to know how to do. And that's some old classic Bart things, Bartisms. He's going to make some prank calls.
Oh, yeah.
Millhouse, I hold in this hand Denis Leary's cell phone, and in this hand the phone numbers of bars around the world. Let's start with Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha to you. I'm looking for Maya, last name Normus Butt.
Hang on, I'll check. Has anyone here seen Maya Normus Butt? I got a Drew P. Wiener here. Anyone expecting a Drew P. Wiener? I hold in my hand a Drew P. Wiener.
Better put it down then, mate.
Yeah, I shall inquire. Is there a Mr. My friend Sergey? First name Olaf. Attention, everyone. All of my friends are gay. Wait a minute. If I ever get a hold of you, I will thank you for showing me the futility of human endeavor.
Oh, the sun never sets on the Bartish Empire.
I think my favorite is Drew P. Wiener.
Yeah.
But it's 2008, Bart. We don't call people gay anymore. Come on.
Yeah. You know, to make fun of people. A couple of things about that clip. The Hawaiian bar is named Bar, while the Australian bar is named Crocodile Drunkies, which is a bit more creative than Bar, and features the boot-kicking butt flag from Bart vs. Australia, as well as Men in Work album and an In Excess sticker, much like Australia has to offer. And then the Swedish bar is named Inga Bar Biermans.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, 2 puns. And also, I love the way that the bartender and the patron kind of do that half face, full face that's known for, that Bergman's known for.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Yeah.
Fun clip.
That's some classic Bart stuff there, Steve. So Milhouse and Bart share a laugh at their tomfoolery when Bart's phone rings. It's Denis Leary, and he's surrounded by Yankees merch, the Jeter jerseys, because Bart said for them to buy that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Denis Leary decides to threaten those little 10-year-old boys.
Denis Leary, you little puke. I'm gonna rip out your heart with 2 fingers. They taught me how to do it for my show.
Which one? The one that got canceled or the one that's gonna get canceled?
You are so dead.
That laughter sounds like the result of misbehavior. Bart, how did you get a cell phone?
Same way you got me, by accident, on a golf course.
Whose phone is this?
You'll never get it out of me.
Okay. Millhouse? It's Denis Leary's! I'm sorry, Bart. I'm desperate for any signs of adult approval. You did the right thing. Bart Simpson's stolen cell phone. Can I help you?
Damn straight you can. I'm Denis Leary, and your kid is out of control.
I'm sorry, Mr. Leary. Sometimes it's hard to be a parent.
No, it's not. It's easy. I'll tell you what's hard, having to watch my stunt double run into a burning building, worrying that people might realize it's not me, it's him. Try doing that.
I don't think I could. Mr. Leary, I'm so sorry. I'll send you your phone back right away.
Keep the phone. In fact, can I give you some advice?
Of course. You're Denis Leary.
I know they make fun of Denis Leary a couple of times, get some jabs like Bart earlier with what show, the canceled, one of the ones about to be canceled.
Yeah.
But do you think Denis Leary himself in his contract for this is like, make sure my name is said every 10 seconds? They sure say Denis Leary a lot in this episode.
It's true. It's weird. And I don't know. I know that he was kind of a big star at the time. It just seems like a weird choice. This is a guest star. Like, it could have been literally anybody else.
Even me?
Even you, Craig.
No one knows who I am, and they never will.
Well, if you keep on talking like that, you mean the asshole who talks like that.
I'm a ghost of Don Pardo.
I'm up here with
Jesus Christ, Gilda Radner,
Jimi Hendrix,
Charles Rocket,
Benjamin Franklin,
Phil Hartman. No, it's too sad.
Oh,
not Chris Farley. He's in the other place. Heaven.
Phil Hartman went
with
to hell.
Phil Hartman.
Okay.
Gilda Radner.
But Jesus Christ, it is in hell.
Yeah. That
Just
sounds
so we're
like
clear.
a book. Jesus Christ, comma, in hell. Or a song, like a song.
Yeah.
A punk song.
I could see that.
It'll be like this. Jesus Christ in hell. Jesus Christ in hell. There.
You wrote it. It's beautiful.
It goes A-G-E. A-G-E. There's the chord structure.
H-E-E. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sure. So Denis Leary, didn't he do the voiceover for like Ford?
Yeah, the trucks for men.
For like F-150s.
Yeah.
And Fred Savage tries to sell us Hondas, and
John Hamm trying to sell us like what, BMWs?
And QAnon tries to sell us Toyota.
Exactly. Or Toyota. Believed in you. You let me down.
I don't know anything about what's going on with Toyota. I haven't done the research. So I just know that they give money to the Republican Party. Isn't that what all corporations do?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm not saying Toyota isn't evil, but they're no more evil than anybody else from my eyes, but I could be wrong.
You're not wrong, Steve. You're Steve.
That's right. I'm Steve.
So Denis Leary tells Marge there to activate the phone's GPS system so it can track little Barty there. This is also the method that Denis Leary tracks every actor to get who goes up for the role that he was up for. Maybe the writers knew something about this. Maybe Frink knew about Leary is a thief of. Yeah. Anyway, so Marge suggests that Denis Leary, we're also paid by Denis Leary to say his name so many times, should just be happy. And then he just shouts, "My tots!" as he leaps into the air, trying to catch his toaster pastries and Pop-Tarts there. And then if you look on the counter, there's a script that says Pop-Tarts, a movie written by Jerry Seinfeld. And so he's going to try to steal that.
Oh, the follow-up to B movie.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld's making a Pop-Tart movie. This is a documentary, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's that you heard that, right?
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
No. Jerry Seinfeld is he has a saw Pop-Tarts, and I thought Seinfeld because he just announced that he has a deal with Netflix to produce stuff, so he's going to produce.
He has no ideas.
He's going to produce a documentary on the story of an origin of Pop-Tarts.
So he was sitting in one of his many homes, thinking, "Okay, I've done coffee. What else
goes with
can I
coffee?
do? Pop-Tarts."
Yeah, that's what you're paying for on Netflix, guys. That's where your $20 a month to Netflix is going to, a Pop-Tarts documentary. And you're going to watch it because it's Seinfeld's name on it.
Yeah, or maybe he'll just enjoy breakfast with like
Tiffany.
Fine artists. So it's like popping tarts with the fine arts.
There you go.
Yeah, so she turns on the satellite tracking on the mobile device and offers it back to her son. At first, he's leery, or should I say leery.
Oh, sorry.
But Marge explains that in these days of stranger dangers and sinister ministers, it's important that the family stays in touch. Bart runs off with his phone, calling Marge the best mom ever, and even running back to give her a hug. Marge then goes to the sofa where Homer is sitting with a laptop. They nonchalantly laugh as Bart has taken the bait like a big mouth bass.
I also think Marge's line of stranger dangers and sinister ministers sounds like another great like punk album title.
Yeah, stranger dangers and sinister ministers. I like it.
It would have been the Ramones' 25th album.
Released in 1998.
Anyway, so Homer and Marge track Bart down there as he goes to the comic book store, past the Quickie Mart, by the Bullies. Oh, Marge is scared about that. But then to the construction site, which is known as a hard hat zone. So we cut to Bart. He's driving a forklift there with Milhouse on the forks there. Milhouse asks about the safety, but Bart points out he's wearing his seatbelt. Just then, his mother calls out his name, causes Bart to slam on the brakes, which in turn causes Milhouse to fly in the air and into a steel beam mounted to the ground. Bart claims that he was at the construction site doing something constructive, right?
Yeah.
He says he'll just take Milhouse home, so he uses the forks in the forklift there and lifts up Milhouse's dead body. I think he's dead.
Yeah, probably dead.
And then we get a little montage of Bart being tracked as he goes to the Aztec Theater to see an R-rated torture porn movie called Sever, I guess based on the Saw movies.
Mm-hmm.
So Marge is covering both her own eyes and Bart's, and then she leads him out of the movie house.
Next, Bart goes to the Springfield Downs to bet on the horses, who, I don't know if you noticed this, but they're weirdly on chariots. Like, I don't know. I've never seen that at a horse track before.
I've never been to a horse track. Do we have them still?
We got the one. I don't know if it does horses anymore, but I think it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to. Maybe we used to have dog racing. Yeah, you're right. I've never seen chariot. Horse racing. Interesting.
Yeah. So Bart looks at the track through his binoculars, but he instead finds the eyes of his mother looking back at him. She rips up his betting sheet and pulls him away just as the server arrives with a martini.
I almost thought when the ticket fell, I thought like Barney was going to pick it up, or a character was going to pick it up and like go woohoo because it was like a winning ticket.
That would have been a nice touch.
Yeah. And then Bart tries to impress the boys by grinding his board down the handrail, but at the bottom, Marge is waiting in the car and opens up the door, and he just like lands right in there.
Finally, Bart heads to the Springfield Cemetery late at night to dig up a grave.
What?
But finds that Marge is in the coffin that he has unearthed. Two things. Bart, going to see an R-rated movie and grinding down a rail. That's pretty bad boy stuff.
Right.
But grave digging, that's a whole nother level of badassery.
This is what, when I first saw this, I'm like, that's stupid. And then after like thinking about this joke, it's the funniest thing because things he does is like typical kid stuff that you would do, that you'd see in a cartoon or even in a real thing. The one thing you would never see is a kid digging up a grave, and for some reason his mother's in an empty coffin.
That's the second part. Is that so? If it's like 10 p.m. and he's digging up the grave, that means that Marge arrived around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, dug up the grave herself, removed the body or what was left of it, hid it somewhere, presumably to put it back later. I would hope. And then she just sat there underground, Kill Bill style.
Yep, waiting for her son, knowing that he was going to dig up this particular grave. All right, let's try to make this logical, not cartoon logic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he had a map in his bedroom, and he had circled like, I'm going to dig up this because there's supposed treasure in this one someone told me about. I'm going to dig it up on Friday at 10 o'clock. And he wrote this down like on Tuesday, and Marge is cleaning up the room and she sees this map and plan, and she decides to go there beforehand to make sure what he does is wrong. Or Marge takes the treasure for herself. There is no treasure. It's just a dead body.
Right.
But there's my logical explanation. But in all, it's probably one of the funniest jokes because it doesn't make sense and it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
All right. Enough of that joke, right? You have anything more to say about it?
I think that's all I can get out of it.
All right, well, Homer and Marge are in the basement, continue to track Bart on the laptop, and Homer notices that Bart's avatar just keeps spinning around and around, and wonders what his angle is. We then see in the window that the real Bart is actually just spinning lifelessly on the tire swing. Oh, poor Bart. Lisa enters wanting to know what they're doing, and Homer replies that they're doing the laundry. Lisa's unconvinced there, so she asks Homer to complete the task of doing laundry. So he kind of goes over to the laundry machine, but he goes and grabs the detergent and he pours it on the dirty clothes that are still in the basket and then places a dryer sheet on top. And you think, well, that must be it, right? No, he decides to take the laundry basket there and open up the not the hot water here, but like some sort of incinerator, right?
Yeah.
And then throws the laundry in there.
So I've seen incinerators in exactly two basements: Home Alone and The Simpsons. Yeah.
Was it the one in the Burbs?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The three.
Burbs, the three.
Burbs, the three.
Anyways, Lisa figures out what's going on.
Tracking software? You're spying on Bart. Hey, keeping track of someone because you love them is not wrong. It shows you care.
That's right, my beautiful, beautiful Midge. Soon you'll be mine.
Keep talking, creepo.
Every word buys you another year in the slammer.
As the FBI listens in on listening in on Marge and Homer, the night goes on. Later, Lisa sneaks to Bart's bedroom to inform him of his parents spying. She tries to talk to him, but finds that he's distracted by his phone. Kids, am I right? She calls him to get his attention.
Shh! I'm listening to financing terms for double glazed windows. Awesome, another call. You got Bart.
It's me, you idiot. Mom and Dad are spying on you. There's a tracking chip in your cell phone.
They're spying on me? That's horrible.
I know. It's a complete violation of your rights. Not to mention...
Hold that thought. I'm getting a text. Viagra at $5 a pill? Whatever it is, it's going in Skinner's coffee.
What is in this coffee?
Skinner just had an erection this entire time. Every time he keeps sipping it, or has he gone back for seconds and just enjoying his boner coffee?
And I like that he was able to pinpoint that it was, in fact, the coffee that was giving him the erection.
Well, that's good because he works around children, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he doesn't. Steve, I made you some coffee over there.
That'll certainly get me up in the morning.
That's what she said.
Skinner walks stiffly by, and Bart opens the back of his cell phone and finds that there's a tracking chip that's clearly marked tracking chip. Steve, check your phone, make sure there's not a giant tracking chip there. He removes it and examines the chip when the red-breasted bird lands near him. And thinking quickly, he ties the chip to the bird, which I'm surprised that he just could grab that bird so fast, you know?
He had experience with
Chippy.
Nope, they were not birds.
Yep.
They were lizards.
Anyway, so back home there, the Simpsons home, Marge and Homer continue their spying and concerned that Bart is running away, and Homer isn't too concerned though because he just gave him a really crappy breakfast. That was a fun line.
Yeah. The tracking site shows that Bart's avatar is all over town, eventually circling the Shelbyville Bird Sanctuary. Thinking that their boy has lost their mind, Homer and Marge pack up the kids and the laptop and hit the road to get Bart. As they pull away, Bart appears from the bushes, laughing to himself that the house is his for a bit. But what is he going to do with all that freedom?
I can do anything I want. First, I'm gonna take a bath, then I'm gonna eat some vegetables, and then I'm gonna get to bed nice and early with no TV.
So your family's been gone for 3 days?
Yeah, and I think they may be gone a while longer. Oh, it looks like the grilled Twizzlers are ready. Oh yeah, this baby is done.
Awesome. But I better get going. It's getting dark. My mom's gonna wake up soon. She gets upset if someone's not there to tell her where she is. Typical mom.
You sure you don't want to stay and have a sleepover? I made sleepover shirts. Huh?
Listen, Bart, if I don't get home soon, there won't be time for my mom to give me a hug, my dad to read me a story, and both of them to sing me a song till I gently fall asleep.
All right, Steve. I like to, from time to time, make you food or beverages that have been on the show itself here.
Mm-hmm.
You just had some coffee with Viagra in it, and you seem to really enjoy that, Steve.
A lot, yeah.
So here you go. I've grilled up some Twizzlers, red vines, and then here's some chocolate syrup on a hot dog bun. It's actually a brioche hot dog bun. And
Ooh,
we're
fancy.
adults, Steve. Yeah, we don't need the cheap whatever brand. Here you go. Here, enjoy. Pretty gross, right?
Yeah, I no longer have an erection.
I love that kid logic of, although Bart lit all the coals on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't think you could really grill a red vine. They're just going to melt to the grates.
Probably, yeah. It would be a mess.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly sugar and wheat. That's what Twizzlers are.
Yeah, it's probably just going to burn up instantly.
Yeah, it would smell really bad too.
Do you think, I know the book isn't out yet, or maybe it is by the time this episode drops, the Joy of Cooking Millhouse cookbook? Ooh. Do you think there's a recipe in that for grilled?
Maybe that didn't make the first edition, but probably be the second edition.
We're going to be the ones making from recipes from seasons 11 and beyond.
Yeah.
And no one will buy the book.
Yeah. But maybe we'll hear more from that book in the future.
Okay.
Maybe. Also, the t-shirts, the Sleeptacular. That's fun.
Man, if you could find something from this episode and make a t-shirt out of, that'd be it.
You would think so. Also, as I get older, the idea of, taking a hot bath, eating a nice meal, and then going to bed early doesn't sound awful.
I like the joke of being like, that's the complete opposite of what a kid would do, but no, that's what Bart wants to do. Maybe because his crappy breakfast, he's like, if sometimes you just eat so much like fatty or just like,
yeah, your body just,
food.
That you need vegetables.
Yeah, I just need some like broccoli right now. It doesn't need to be cooked. I just need some greens. So maybe that's what it's because of his crappy breakfast that Homer made.
Yeah. I also like, stripping naked into everything except for your sneakers and running up the stairs. It's fun.
Yeah, you don't want to step on anything. What if there's a splinter or something?
Yeah, you could stub your toe.
Yeah.
So Milhouse tells Bart to have a good night by himself and then points out that there's no moon out tonight and that it's real boogeyman weather. And then Bart finds himself all alone.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Simpsons clan continue to chase the bird they assume is Bart's. And Marge notices that Bart's been moving nonstop all afternoon. Perhaps there's too much sugar in his sugar frosted Cambios.
Is that the crappy breakfast?
He needs his vegetables, Steve.
Yeah.
Lisa is still skeptical, which something doesn't seem right. So they pull into the field and they believe Bart to be in. And Marge and Homer step out calling for their son. Homer promising not to strangle, but his hands that are in a strangling formation tell a different story. While they search, Lisa and Maggie stay in the car, and Lisa notices a bird that lands on the hood, and pieces of it are all coming together. Then she goes to a website, which is Peterson's Guide to NorthAmericaBirds.com, and it's not a real website. Steve looked it up.
I did.
And the bird is, she IDs the bird as a scarlet tangier, and she learns about the winged wonder and has some, she's got a brief moral dilemma.
Oh, no.
You've been flying south because you're migrating to Machu Picchu, Peru? Well, I could tell Mom and Dad the chip is in the bird and hope they take me to Machu Picchu another time. Or... Shoot. Mom! Dad! Bart's on the move!
She's just a jerk.
Hey, she wanted to go to Machu Picchu, and this is it.
Yeah.
We saw that in the book.
How convenient.
That's called Chekhov's phaser, Steve.
There you go. The Simpsons are going to Peru. Meanwhile, Bart finds that solo living has its ups and downs. Sitting in his bed, the shadows of bare tree branches surrounding him, owls hooting in the distance, Bart discovers that when you're alone, night is scary. But as he shirtlessly squeezes tightly on the shaft of a Twinkie and his mouth fills with a blast of cream, Bart announces that day is awesome.
Later, Bart is sitting in the corner of his room in hockey gear, holding a sword and a cross and announcing that night is scary.
The following morning, Bart is whacking Malibu Stacy heads with a golf club and shouting, "Day is awesome."
He must have learned how to swing from collecting all those balls on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a good swing there.
Yeah.
But then it's nighttime and he's on the kitchen table asleep surrounded by a bunch of mouse traps, and once again says, "Night is scary."
Night is scary, Bart. We then cut to the stony hills of Machu Picchu, where Homer and Marge and the Simpsons girls are riding alpacas in search of Bart, or at least the bird with the tracking chip. Homer's confidence, especially with the unpleasantness in Ecuador behind them, and his coca leaf addiction under control. He discovers Bart is trapped in the paradise above the clouds. The family climbs up a hill where they think they see Bart, but it turns out to just be a Bart-shaped bush.
It's funny because it's very much a Bart-shaped bush.
Yeah.
Love that visual gag.
Yeah. Homer thinks it's the work of the trickster god when Marge has a hallucination of her own with one of the stone idols coming to life.
Clearly the work of Weracocha, the trickster god.
You guys look exhausted. Maybe you ought to rest for a while.
No! All I care about is finding my boy, and then I'm never letting him out of my sight again.
Greetings, sky-haired sun mother.
I don't need any new friends. I'm just looking for my little boy. I need to protect him from himself.
Like the mothers of ancient Machu Picchu protected their children? Our mothers were the most overprotective in the greater Machu Picchu metropolitan area. They forced their children to live in this walled mountain city.
Those walls do look safe.
Walls that keep out danger, keep out knowledge. Our young people never learned to survive on their own, so when they grew up, they were no match for the conquistadors.
Some extended Three Stooges bit there.
Yeah. It made me laugh. I like the noises.
I gotta say, we get a little serious for a second. The quote that he uses, that walls keep out danger, keep out knowledge, that's a really poignant quote.
Really is. Pretty deep.
It makes you think, Steve. And I went to look it up. I was like, is that an actual saying? And it just looks like it's Frink must have just wrote that himself. That's not like, is that like an idiom, an ism or something? But no.
Wow. That's very impressive.
I just assume, I mean, the extensive knowledge I did by typing it in Google and looking for information, but it's just mostly from The Simpsons. If I'm wrong, Steve will find out.
Yeah, but I didn't look either, so I'll keep people safe, keep that idea.
Just like a take on something, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's a quote to live by. If you stay in a safe place, then you'll never learn.
Exactly. So tear down that wall.
The Great Wall of China.
Yep. Those Mongols weren't so bad.
And you can't actually see it from space like they say you could. It's
exactly. Yeah. Well, Marge has learned a valuable lesson. The imagined Peruvian god says that he didn't mean to. He's just chatty. He sold his business a few years ago and he misses talking to people. But Marge has discovered that she can't always be there for Bart. The bird then lands on the laptop and Homer slowly figures out what's going on. When Marge says it's time to go home, they arrive back at 742 Evergreen Terrace to find that Bart is nonchalantly drinking a Buzz Cola on the sofa.
Hey,
Thank God you're okay.
were you guys gone?
We were gone for 2 weeks.
I didn't even notice.
I just made a 3,700-mile car trip. I need to wash up. Whoa.
Never leave again.
Aww.
Where's Maggie?
Oh, she's,
Where's Maggie, Steve?
Uh-oh. Well, as the Incas worship the mighty and powerful Maggie, credits roll, and that's our episode.
I do like the little Bart at the end of Never Leave. It's such a little kid thing.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Well, the episode ends, but we get a nice little dedication to Paul Newman, who passed away the week before this episode aired. I gave him a little in loving memory card. And if they didn't, Paul Newman was gonna
break my legs.
That's the episode. So let's do our usual thing. I need to take a break, and then I come back and discuss what we love about it, or hate about it, or just indifferent about it, and things like that.
Sounds great. We'll be right back.
You better watch your step. Bye. I'll send you all my regards. You're so tough. You're so hard. Listen to the hammers falling in the breaker's yard. You better watch your step. You better watch your step. Ooh, watch your step.
And we're back. Craig, let's finish up our discussion on Lost Verizon. We'll talk about the things that made us laugh, the things we like to look at, and what we thought of the episode. And then we'll find out what we're watching next week.
So the things that make us go,
Things that make us go,
If you're just tuning in to this portion of the podcast, we're going to talk about what we want on a t-shirt or tattoo, right?
Yeah.
From this episode of The Simpsons, if you're just tuning in.
The one that you just watched and heard us talk about.
Yeah. I mean, assuming they didn't listen to us, they just tuned in for at this point.
Right. They hit FF or skip 15.
Yeah.
Approximately 400 times.
There you go.
And then, yeah.
It's the only way to listen to this podcast.
Exactly.
All right. We've kind of alluded to a couple things in this episode, especially the actual t-shirt in the episode with Bart holding up Bart Simpson's Sleeptacular, the hand-drawn. You know, he took 3 white t-shirts and just drew those on himself with a Sharpie. That's pretty clever, Bart.
And they look pretty good. I mean, you can clearly tell who's who.
Yep. You're right. I would get that on a shirt. I would wear that proudly.
Yeah. Speaking of proud and boys.
Yeah.
You could have that little Sprout boy.
Oh, right. And
it says we're not kidding.
Maybe put a little MAGA hat on him.
There you go.
How about just Maggie's sign? This is me sad too.
That's the one that I'm going to go with, actually.
But not with Maggie's actual face.
No,
it's just
in a
sad
Sharpie.
too.
Just an old white t-shirt, maybe with a couple of holes, and it says me sad too.
All right, so for this episode, we're gonna have all of Bart's sleepover drawn on a shirt, and you'll have me sad too.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's both make cardboard top hats.
I love it. We'll be the fanciest sad boys.
Yeah, that's what we should be called. It's the sad boys. And of course, we both will have permanent Denis Leary tattoos.
Of course.
On as our tramp stamp. I mean, you can't say tramp stamp anymore. Above the poop hole.
There you go.
The poop back. The poop deck. That's what the back is. Instead of calling it the tramp stamp, let's call it the poop deck stamp.
I like that.
The
Yeah.
poop deck tattoo.
Just Denis Leary.
Yeah. Or maybe a caricature of Paul Newman. And his
There you go.
lovely salad dressings.
That's another good one.
Yeah. All right. What about for jokey jokes?
I did really enjoy the pranks.
Yeah.
Droopy Wiener being probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
I liked Marge in this episode, kind of. I thought she was fun.
The beginning, like we talked about, she's paying for the peas. I think that's great. Looking at the mail is fun with Marge. You're right. Marge has a lot of great lines in this here episode.
Yeah. And I think that she's probably gonna be like, I like Skinner. What little we had of Skinner, he was really good. I liked him in the beginning with the gas can and but also just his line reading of what's in this coffee.
And his walking away with an erection.
Yeah.
Bart calling Brian Grazer a dumbass was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Millhouse is close to being my MVJ on this episode. In fact, he might be.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think he's got good, good lines in the beginning with, him talking to the bullies about where Bart's at and, getting the word about Skinner. And he has that line too, is like when Bart has the phone. And he's like, look outside. Where it's like, look outside. He's like, I'm not allowed to look outside when I'm alone or whatever that was. I'm getting into Bart. Not Bart. His friend, Millhouse.
Millhouse is good because he does show himself to be a very good friend who's just wants, an adult's attention and love, and he just wants to follow the rules. Yeah, I think that he's somebody we can all relate to. Skinner
with a close second for me. And then I said it right before we went to break, that line of walls that keep out danger, keep out knowledge. That's actually my favorite line. I usually go with funny, but I'm going with thoughtful.
I think I have to agree with you. That line, aside from all the jokes in this episode, that is something I will take away from this episode and try and share it because it's a good piece of advice,
It's rare when The Simpsons does make you think, and I think we should just get into it, right?
Yeah.
It's weird because this episode's from season 20, and watching it a couple times, I swear you could put this episode in the middle of like season 12, maybe even like 13, and it fits right in. Like it doesn't it feel like it's older than it should be?
It does. Like when we were starting to watch the episode together and you were talking about the old intro, it did feel like, we're watching something from like maybe 2002.
I feel like by 2008, like everyone had a cell phone, and they play off of this joke too of like, every kid has it except for Bart because the Simpsons are always late to the game. So that's why it also made me feel like it's kind of has that classic Simpsons feel to it.
It's true.
There's elements of other great episodes like, was it
Marge Be Not Proud?
Marge Be Not Proud. There's some elements of that. Trying to think, I think the crime it's probably worse because he's shopless. He purposely goes out to steal. This one, he just finds Denis Leary's phone.
Yeah.
And does the finders keepers. So I guess I'm not, it's not as bad. Marge was upset, but not like that upset. I didn't even consider like, oh, the Simpsons go to Machu Picchu. I don't really think about that because it's not the whole family. It's just a few of them. Well, it's just everyone except for Bart. I also like to make up that joke at the end because there's so many episodes of The Simpsons where like Maggie just like forgot about, and this one they make a joke like, "Where's Maggie?" I think this is also the episode that can be shown now and still is relevant because I feel like still some kids will have cell phones and some won't.
That's true.
And it's definitely a kid thing. Like it just does, it does remind us of some classic Simpsons, just like classic cartoons and kids like, well, if everyone has something, then I have to have it too. It's a story that's never going to go away,
Yeah.
And there were some chuckles in here, and there's some silly, like, I just feel like the whole idea that Lisa can't figure it out until like the last minute. And if that was the kind of the sloppy part of like with her Chekhov's gun of like, I want to go to Machu Picchu, and then they will,
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I think it was like, it's kind of like a greatest hits of other good Simpsons episodes, but they do a good job of like kind of bringing it together. And again, that one scene of Marge, Bart digging up the grave and Marge is already there.
Oh yeah.
Us like kind of like discussing how absurd that is made me enjoy that joke in that scene even more. So I actually did enjoy this episode, and I find like, Denis Leary was perfectly cromulent, and it was like you said it in the podcast, like, it could have been played by anybody. But kudos to him for letting everyone make fun of him in this episode. But the real star, of course, was Randy Newman. Paul Newman. Randy wasn't in this episode. He was too busy doing Toy Story 3.
How about that? Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
So that being said, Newman's Own is a 100% profit for charity. I enjoy many of the products, the salad dressings, the salsas.
Oh, yes.
I'm not a big fan of the dog food since I don't eat dog. I mean, dog food. So it was found in 1982. So out of 1,982, I give this episode a 1796.
That's a pretty good score, I think.
Probably 1982. Yeah, sure. I enjoyed it. I think it's one I would definitely watch again. It's not in my top 10 that we've watched.
Yeah.
But it gave me that feeling of like watching a season 12. And I think I had low expectations going into this because I feel like season 20 is kind of, obviously the later you go on, you always have negative feelings towards The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Even though they've always been good. So there you go.
All right. Well, Craig, you've done it again, where I came into this episode very negatively, having kind of remembered it from before. And
That's the one thing. Like, I don't remember this episode at all.
And so I was ready to just dismiss this and not like it.
You mean poo-poo?
I was ready to poo-poo it. Normally takes me a couple hours, but I was ready to do it now. But as I watched it and as we were discussing, it kind of grew on me some more. And I will say that I have basically like 3 big issues with the show. I've talked previously when we talked about Bart Gets a Z, how cell phones kind of date an episode immediately just because of the technology. I'm willing to forgive that and not even think about it. But it is something that was in the back of my mind. Denis Leary and Brian Grazer as cameos. I don't have any problem with it per se, but I just don't know why. I don't know why it had to be them, because it didn't have to be.
Well, Brian Grazer had already been on before.
That's true. It just took me out of it because I'm not a fan of Denis Leary, and so I just kept on thinking about why was he there? What is he doing there? What are you doing, man? So that's one thing. And then the Machu Picchu thing, it seems really random to just, it wasn't earned. I didn't feel like it was just Lisa reading a book and then the bird happened to go there, which I get is cartoon logic, but it just didn't seem earned.
No, you're right. And that's kind of like, I guess I didn't really allude to like what you said about that, like that whole Lisa Machu Picchu thing. I kind of said like, wasn't a fan of that either. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Lisa's a jerk in this episode.
Right.
A huge jerk. She made them go on a 3,700-mile trip that took 2 weeks.
You're right. It was a selfish thing because she probably got to see the world.
Right. She got to go on her trip, and it probably cost them thousands of dollars. Homer lost 2 weeks of work or whatever job he was working at the time. Lisa was out of school for 2 weeks. Bart was too, presumably. I mean, he wouldn't have gone to school.
Maybe this is towards summer break.
Maybe
we saw them at school. Never mind.
But I don't know. It's just Lisa's whole being in this episode is weird. That being said, I think that there is like a structure of a really good episode. And you talked about Bart and Be Not Proud. And I do think that, you know, the relationship of Bart and Marge and Bart growing up and growing away from her is always a good thing that you can fall back on. And this was a nice change of pace because it wasn't just about her being disappointed at him for doing a crime. It was more about her losing her little special little guy and then realizing that, you know, he still needs her. And, you know, even though they'll grow apart and the relationship will change, they'll still be, you know, mother and son.
And don't forget, it's also not a Homer has to save the episode type of, you know, like Homer's the star of the episode, which is always hard to do.
That's a really good point because Homer was allowed to have some fun, but didn't steal any spotlights. So, yeah, that's actually...
I think his shining scene is him doing laundry, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's that was probably his best joke. So I'm going to say that...
that was Homer's... He wrote that himself.
Yeah.
He pitched it to Matt.
The writer's table.
He's like, hey, Matt, I got this a joke for you.
It's about laundry.
I don't know why my Homer impression is now Fred Flintstone, but it is.
That's a good one, Homer.
Boner. Steve, is that Viagra still in your coffee?
Maybe I got a second cup. So
that one had Blue Chew in it.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
What?
I have no idea.
Oh,
not a sponsor.
I mean, if they want to be a sponsor,
then it works great.
Yeah.
My penis has never been bigger.
It's about being hard.
My penis has never been more difficult.
There you go.
So in 2015, Denis Leary starred in a show called Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, in which he played a character named Johnny Rock. And the show is described as a middle-aged, once famous rock singer who desperately wants his glory days back, finds out that he has a talented daughter who wants to reunite and front his old band and date his guitar player.
I thought you say date him.
I know. They're dysfunctional, but they don't care, which is a show that I think we may have wrote.
Was this like, I don't know who wrote this, and I'm not going to look it up, but was it like some writer was just like, they're sitting around drinking coffee. And he's like, isn't it weird that like Liv Tyler didn't know that her dad was Steven Tyler until she was like 16?
The
guy is like, that's a TV show.
Yeah, but what if instead of being an actress, she was a rock star too?
Yeah.
Well, that show, surprisingly, only had 20 episodes.
And more than most shows can get to.
It's true. So out of 20, I'm going to give this a 12 out of 20.
All right. That's oddly enough, that's also your dating age range.
No,
it was Steve's not a pedophile.
Not anymore. I mean, it was when I was 18 because
what?
Well, because when you're not when I can't explain. Like when you're a child, you want to date children.
When you're
You know what I'm saying.
Yes, you said when you're 20 you were.
I said 18.
Oh, 18.
We'll just hold this for editing. Let's just cut all this out.
Okay.
So this episode's to me it's a skip, but I think it's fine.
Hey, we kind of have a agree, disagree type of thing. That's good. We need more of that on this episode.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I think I liked it a little bit less than you, but I don't have any big problem with it. It's not for me.
All right, but it is for me. So you, listener, decide if it's for you, and you probably already have if you already listened to this episode.
That's
but maybe
right.
someone does listen to this and they want to know if they should watch it. And I think that's the whole point of this podcast, right? It's to
Exactly.
talk about it, but we already told all the funny jokes. So what's the point of you watching it now? This podcast is flawed. This is the last episode, Steve. Shouldn't we be in the Navy right now?
Oh yeah.
I missed the bus. I hope I'm considered AWOL now. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. We're AWOL. All right. Well, I guess we should find out if we should. I guess we should find out what we're watching next week, actually.
Yeah, I guess so. And to do that, we're going to need that wheel of random. All right, let's give it a spin to see what season we're in. In the words of Taylor Swift here, I'm feeling a little 22. Oh.
Yeah, season 22, that is.
Season 22. All right, let's give it a spin to see which episode we're watching. Boo-doop.
Episode 10.
Season 22, episode 10. Why, that's Moms I'd Like to Forget. What happens, Craig?
Or known as what, MILF?
MILF, yeah, the MILF episode.
All right. Well, in this episode, Bart discovers that a 5th grade dodgeballer has the same mysterious scar on his hand. Marge explains that 7 years ago, she and her girlfriends formed a group called the Cool Moms, and Bart belonging to one of them.
Wow.
I'm assuming Marge.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Hey, we're doing a back-to-back Marge and Bart episode, I guess, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Steve, I'll just say it right now, I don't remember this episode.
Me neither, not one bit.
All right. Originally aired January 9th, 2011, written by Chris Clements. I mean, no, that was directed by Chris Clements, but it's written by Brian Kelly. Same Brian Kelly that wrote, is that the same Brian Kelly that's a musician?
From the Nashville-based Florida-Georgia line?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same guy, right?
Yeah, probably. He has many interests.
All right, we'll just go with him. All right, well, Steve, I guess I'm looking forward to this. It's always fun, we past couple episodes we've kind of remembered watching. This one you don't know, so it's kind of new to us. So that's always fun to experience the new.
Yeah, it's fun to go into it cold.
I wish we were cold right now based off of the weather in the Pacific Northwest, but we're not.
That's right.
Not a weather podcast.
Yet.
Stay tuned for next week's intro. All right. For this week, I'm going to tell you to go to our social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at 138Simpsons.
And you can email us at 138simpsons@gmail.com or go to your favorite podcatching app and leave us 5 stars or the equivalent. And you can write a review, but it doesn't need to be a real review. You could just talk about your favorite imaginary tea.
All right. For this week, I've been half an annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And I've been your other half annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And remember, keep reaching for the skis.
What is in this coffee?
Your balls.
Walls that keep out danger, keep out knowledge.